What's going on, guys? It's Ken Colwood coming at you with the latest ClickFix feature drop. And in this one, I'm actually pretty excited because this relates directly to one of my other companies where I have a Shopify store, and I wanted a way to go ahead and integrate that so we could see all the sales coming through and I could fire off the automations instead of using something like Klaviyo. This gives me the ability to go ahead and use Ontraport's powerful features and automations to be able to communicate with my customers. So we're seeing here our actual live sales that have come through. This is all recorded as normal, as if it were a checkout form that you have on your regular Ontraport pages. But you can see here we have the product sales logs, and we can jump into any of these sales and we can go ahead and look at some of the contacts that have come through just in the last 24 hours with the sales that we've made from the store. And we could jump into any of those, and it looks just like your typical customer record would for any kind of sale that you would do directly on Ontraport. And when you come over here to purchases here, you can see that this person has purchased this tactical scorpion gear body armor. This is my other store, is a tactical gear and body armor e-commerce store. So this person, it shows you the total that they paid. If they bought anything besides that product, it would show up here. So any upsells or anything like that on the Shopify side of things would show up here. The other cool thing about this is that if you go back to the products here, you can see that we have a whole bunch. This is the sandbox account, so you can see we have a whole bunch of different products. But these particular products were actually imported in real time when the sale was actually made. Right, so these products did not exist. I didn't have to create them inside of Ontraport first. It just went ahead and grabbed all the information as the sale came through and put them into Ontraport. So the reason why that's important is because you no longer have to worry about, coming over to your store that potentially has, like mine does, thousands of different products. Let's see how many variations and whatnot there are here. We have, I don't even know how to see the total number of products here, but I know that we have over 1,000 different variations of products in here. So if I had to first put this into Ontraport, it would take me or my team hours of time, obviously, right? So the way that we set this up is the integration just in real time. It goes ahead and pulls all the customer information from the transaction as well as the product information from the transaction, and it goes ahead and it puts it right over into Ontraport, so you can do anything that you would normally do with the products or automations that you would do through a normal checkout system. And the really cool thing about this is that it couldn't be simpler to get set up. So let's take a look at the documentation real quick. And you can see that it's really only a couple of steps. So first and foremost, you have to get your Ontraport key, right? And so if you're familiar with Ontraport, you would go into administration, you would come to integrations, and you would go ahead and just set up an API key. Let's go ahead and just set up a new one here just for fun. You would give it a name. Let's call this Shopify 2 since I already have one set up. And contact owner doesn't really matter, but we'll just say me. You don't have to check any of these, but just as a fail-safe, I normally do just because I'm like that. And you click on save, and then you have your new API key, API ID and API key, which you go ahead and you can click back in here, and it makes it easy to copy and paste, right? So that was step number 1 from the documentation, right? Now we got to get your Shopify token. Now this one, if you've never worked in the back end of your Shopify store, can be a little bit more daunting. So let's take a look at this step by step. So you're in here. Normally you would be here on the home screen here. You would go ahead and click on settings, and you're going to scroll down to apps and sales channels. All right, you're going to click on develop apps because this is an app that isn't listed currently in the App Store. So what you do is you would go ahead and click on create an app. You give it a name. Let's call this ClickFix 2. All right. You would create the app. Once the app is here, you go ahead and do configure admin API. And what you're wanting to do is you're going to search for orders. And you're going to scroll down to orders, right? And obviously it includes personally identifiable information because this is what tells Ontraport the name and address and all the data about the person who's made the purchase. And for now, we're just going to go ahead and click on read orders. Okay. Once you have that done, you click on save. All right, so that's saved. Then you click on API credentials. First thing you want to do is install the app. All right, so you can read this. You know that it gives it access to Shopify store. And then once the app is installed, you click on reveal token once, and this is literally only going to be shown one time. So I would suggest saving this in a place that you can access easily. Because if you need to, for whatever reason, redo this, instead of having to make a new app, you could just go ahead and paste in your Shopify token, right? So once we've saved the token, all right, we have it saved to clipboard here. Then we got to go into ClickFix. So you would go ahead and come to app.clickfix.io and you go ahead and sign in. All right. And there are a couple things that you have to do. If you've never set up any kind of Ontraport integration with ClickFix directly, then you first have to add your Ontraport API key. So you click on Ontraport API key, you'd give this a name. You can name it whatever you want. If you're only planning to use one API key for everything, then you could just name this Ontraport. If you want to have just one API key for one specific use case, then maybe you would call this Shopify. And then you go ahead and you grab the information from your Ontraport. So you have the API app ID here. All right. You have the application key. Make sure you click on active and then you would click submit. All right. So now Ontraport can now speak to the ClickFix backend. We go back to home. The next thing you want to do is you jump back over to the documentation here because we haven't added Shopify to as one of these options yet. I don't believe. Let's see. Oh, here it is, Shopify integration. Sorry about that. All right, so you would click on the Shopify integration up here. And then you're going to go ahead and give this one a name. Again, the naming convention is completely up to you. You would go ahead and say, this is another PBA demo 2, for example. And then you go ahead and you select the Ontraport application key that you just made. So in this case, it was Shopify 2 that we made. Then you have to type in your My Shopify Store domain. You don't need the HTTPS, none of that stuff. It's just the whatever comes in front of myshopify.com. You just add that. Then the access key, this is that token that you had from Shopify, right? So you have that on the clipboard again. And you paste it in here, make sure it says active, and then you click on submit, and that's it. Couldn't be simpler. We're always looking to add more features. So if you are a Shopify power user and you have other things that you'd like to be able to do with your store in conjunction with Ontraport, please let us know. Drop a comment below this video, hit us up in the Ontraport user Facebook group or the Ontraport certified experts group, or even our clickfix.io Facebook group. Let us know. We would love to hear your wish list so we can keep pumping out these features and make your store get an edge over everybody else by being able to leverage all the crazy powerful automations and different features that Ontraport has that Klaviyo and some of these other leading e-commerce integrations can't hope to match. We'll see you in the next video.